Welcome, everybody, to the Single on Stilettos show. I'm Suzanne Oshima, and I'm a life and love transformational coach and founder of Single in Stilettos. Today, we have a very special guest, Hunt Ethridge, and he's a dating and relationship expert at huntforadvice.com. And I'm super excited to have him here because today he's going to share with us the 3 signs he's definitely falling in love with you. So welcome, Hunt. I'm super excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. As always, it's so much fun to talk to you and be here. We always have such a good conversation.
Yeah. So before we jump into it and you tell us the 3 signs that a man is definitely falling in love with a woman, share with us how you became a dating coach and what inspired you.
Sure. Honestly, I got into this because of my therapist. I was going to her for various and sundries about 12 years ago, and she said, "You know more about this than anybody I've ever met. You need to figure out a way to monetize this. And the minute you do, I'll refer all of my patients to you." So just having 3 very strong pats on the back, say, from someone in her profession, started me the research. Do I know about this? Is it something that can be taught? And I saw that there was a niche for this and there was a need for it. Especially at that time, it was just a bunch of sleazy pickup artists. And as you know me, that's not me at all. So I wanted to try to help a lot of people. So I've been doing this now for 10 years in different formats. And I love just being able to help how many people that I have and the reach that I've had and the trust in the industry that I've gained after all these years.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that story. That's great. Everyone always has a unique story about how they started in this industry.
Yeah, no one majored in this. So, no. We all kind of found ourselves here somewhere.
Yeah, and what I always find is that everybody that does this, it's truly their passion. And I think you and I are no exception to the rule.
Yeah.
So let's jump into it. So tell us the first sign a man is definitely falling in love with a woman.
Well, the first sign is basically when he really starts to let himself feel vulnerable or be vulnerable. It's very difficult for men in society right now to understand what their desired role in the relationship is. It goes back and forth. It was alpha and then metrosexual and lumbersexual and all these things swirling. So guys are really unsure what they're supposed to be. So they'll keep themselves closed off a lot, trying to project strength or look how, important I am. And when he can finally start to see that you're with him, for those things on the inside, then he can start kind of opening himself up and letting you in and risking vulnerability. Obviously, with different people have different levels of vulnerability that they're willing to share. But a lot of times these will just kind of come out of nowhere too, because no guy ever has sat his girlfriend down and say, "We need to talk." It will just be something, that will just be pop out in a conversation. They're talking about something and it's like, well, my dad used to beat my mom and just kind of like, he's starting to share more. He's starting to see me part of his life. So it's a great thing. It can be startling to start to really get to know someone, but it's the first clue of many that it's really starting to fall for you.
So when he's sharing those deep, deep feelings, you mean?
Yeah.
So what if a woman is in a relationship with a man, let's just say it's like 8 to 12 months, because by then you should feel really open and sharing. And what if a woman tells you that, well, you know what, he's not really being vulnerable. He's not sharing with me things in his life. He seems kind of closed off. Is there a way a woman could get a man to open up more and be vulnerable?
I think that question has probably been asked for millennia. And we're still working on figuring out how to answer it. As you know as well too, it's a complicated answer because it's never no and it's never yes. It's always somewhere in between. Some people just can't open up due to personality or due to trauma or anything else. Therapy helps very much with that. A lot of people are opposed to therapy. I personally think everyone should go to a therapist because it's awesome. But the only thing that you can do is try to create a safe environment for them so that they know that they're not going to be hurt if they bring something up. And there's something called mirroring, which is something when you see people do something, you do the same thing. If they talk louder, you talk louder. If they swear, you start to swear more to be like each other. And so create a safe space where you are mirroring the activity that you want them to do. So you will share, you will talk about deep things in your life. You will show that you are vulnerable and you're not attacking, because if you try to get in there, that's not going to work at all. That it'll backfire and he'll, backlash and fire and flames can come out, or just retreat into the shell and just, turn mute. So you just talk about yours. You can gently ask them, like, what about you? Do you have any, how is yours? Things like that. And just let them talk. Sometimes they'll kind of have to talk themselves around and in and out of these conversations because they've never, ever talked directly about some of these things, because close male friends don't necessarily get into the deep of it as much as female friends do. And if they have a difficult relationship with their family, they may not have ever told anybody these things. So just be patient and create a safe environment.
Okay, that totally makes sense. Okay, so what's another sign a man is definitely falling in love with a woman?
Well, one way you can figure out if a man's falling in love with you is how far in advance his planning starts to go. Because at first the guy doesn't want to talk about what we're doing next weekend, because I don't know what we're doing next weekend. That's too much commitment. Let me alone. And as you start to spend more time together and the relationship progresses, then he's talking about next month, then he's talking about next year, then talking about having a vacation home in Vermont. These basically let you know that he sees you as a part of his life in the future, and that his life that he's building in his mind includes you, and is centered around the two of you. And that's great. That's awesome when that starts to happen. Hopefully it happens at the right time and not on the first date.
Right. Definitely. Okay, so what's the last sign a man is definitely falling in love with you?
Well, I think I had this problem because I had never been in love. So I didn't know, when I'm with my wife Karen now, I didn't know what love was, romantic love in that way. So I didn't know that I was in love. She knew that I was in love with her, but that I didn't know that I was in love with me. And so she had to kind of back off and let me come to it. But honestly, because men will have a more difficult time maybe of coming to it or saying to it, it really is going to be a lot of actions before words that you have to see. And it's tough because women are usually more communicative, more in touch with their emotions, and can know when this happens. And so many articles are written of when do you say I love you? Do you let him say it first? Do you say it first? And there's no right answer to that dilemma. But start to think about if, when someone loves me, they do X. And then start to see, does he do X? Mm-hmm. Does he start to leave you a little glass of water next to your bed before you go to sleep if he's the last one up? Is he the one that spontaneously will pick up some food to come over and cook? These things, as they start to add up, will speak a lot louder than his words at the beginning, and can at least start to make you feel better, because I know it can be anxious trying to wait and see if you're feeling the same things at the same time. And I know it's kind of almost a cop-out answer. It's like, it's his actions. But sometimes we overlook those in waiting for the words. We want the words because we're primed to hear the words. So just take a step back too. Even if the words aren't forthcoming, it's more important that the actions are.
Oh, I love that you said that, because I actually have a client that has been asking me that. She wishes the man she's in a relationship with would say, I love you, but he's showing all the signs, like you talked about, all the actions. So clearly he's in love with her, but he hasn't expressed it in words.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I hope that one of the things that I hope that I can do is talk to, at some point in my career, a generation of younger men, because a lot of this is because of the way that we were raised and taught that men should be, and having these difficulties of expressing ourselves and understanding what emotions are and the complex types of feelings that we can have. So I do hope that for you women, that the next generation of men can be a little bit more open and it'll be a little bit easier. But I'm sure we'll have some new problems to worry about.
Well, you should start a movement for younger men. That should be your mission.
I would love that. Just making people happier couples.
Exactly. And everybody reaps the benefits. Well, this has been
Yep.
great. So, Hunt, how can the women find you?
You can find me on my website at huntforadvice.com. Find me on Twitter and Facebook at huntforadvice.com. I've got lots of articles and videos, some with you, on my site, and would love to hear from you. And I think that people are really getting the idea that this is a skill set and that you can learn it. And it's not an art, it's not a mystery, it's something that can be learned. And it's really positive to me to see the amount of people coming in as clients that are open, that are talking about it, that are recommending each other. And that makes me happy, and that people are becoming more comfortable with this aspect of the love industry. So come find me and let me help you out.
Awesome. So, ladies, if you would like to find Hunt, go to huntforadvice.com. And if you like the Single and Stiletto show, it's available both in video format and podcast format. If you would like to view the videos, you can go to singleandstilettos.com. And if you would like to get the podcast, you can download it from iTunes. And if you would like to get our free gift, the Secrets About Men video series, you can click right here on the video, or you can go to singleandstilettos.com.